Greetings everyone, this is Gulab here, and now for part 2 on the glorification of Indra and the deterioration of the truth through time. What happened to Lord Indra? So, as I said in the previous video, in the Veda, Indra, along with other gods, is the highest form of divinity and is worshipped as a protector and close friend. He is the creator and sustainer of the world. So, in the Rig Veda, he's spoken of in many, I think hundreds of verses. Hundreds of verses are speaking of Lord Indra. And there are only about 8 verses that speak of Lord Vishnu. Lord Shiva is not mentioned except for Lord Rudra is. Lord Rudra is actually the later Lord Shiva who came about in the Puranic times. But originally he was Rudra, but these two are not spoken of as much as Lord Indra is praised all over the Vedas. So now we're going to discuss what happened throughout time. Why is in India there no temple worship of Lord Indra? Why is it Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu, Ganesh, Lord Durga, and all these other gods, but no Lord Indra? Okay. So, all right, the pre-Indra, Agni, Soma, and Varuna are immortal because they existed before light in the darkness, which is the foundation of existence. So Lord Indra brings the light. So especially Agni in the Vedas is a symbol for the highest spiritual principle, absolute truth, undivided consciousness. Let's see. Now, coming to the Puranic depiction, which you know well, after the time of the Vedic rishis, the original spiritual concept of yagna became more mechanical and devoid of its earlier inner meaning. The Upanishad rishis wanted to bring back the jnana and bhakti of earlier Vedas. Jnana means knowledge, bhakti means devotion. But for this they had to break the association of the now degraded yagna and gods. So they put down individual gods and gave a new name, Brahman, to the earlier Agni, so that the message is not confused with the Yagna Agni. In parallel, popular religion was combining Bhagavat tradition with Vedic gods, Vishnu and Rudra, to come up with new deities of Vishnu Narayan and Rudra Shiva. Although we already find these personalities in Yajurveda, i.e. Narayan Shuktam and Rudra Namakam and Chamakam, in the Puranas they become primary gods. Indra and other former Vedic gods now occupy a second-rank position. In a way, Puranic religion is a highly simplified version of Vedic religion. The Vedic gods were never very concrete personalities. They merged into one another. They had very deep symbolism. The yagna was very intricate in symbol and metaphysics. By contrast, the Puranic Vishnu and Shiva are more personified. They have families, friends, enemies, careers. Of course, the same spiritual loftiness is assigned to them, but more often than not, they are easily approached by simple bhakti and prayer than complex rituals. All right, then what happens? Okay, 1 second. Just translating a hymn This is translation. Okay. Indra from Rig Veda to Purna. Indra is derived from the root ind, meaning to waxen, to promote, to vivify. Another popular word from the same root is Indu, used for the vivifying drops. Indra is the highest form of divinity, who has all the concepts of God in him. Indra vivifies, promotes, and waxens. Rig Veda. All the Rig Veda poems about Indra speak of the autonomous sway of Indra, in whose spiritual concept all other deities find their place. Indra has all the qualities that are found in other concepts of God. In Indra abide all the concepts of God. Indra is the one whose splendor pervades throughout the universe. He, through the Maya, assumes different forms. He verily attacks the illusory elements with their own illusion. He finds the rays of light, cows, from the darkness of ignorance, Vala's cave. He is against unproductive capitalism. He frees the cows from panis who steal and hide them. He attacks the rain cloud Vrita, Varaha, with his lightning, and brings the rain of knowledge that connects the spiritual mind, sky, and physical mind, earth. He quiets Shushna, the shrinker, one who causes to shrink, with his Shushna's own illusion, and provides wide earth, physical mind. He lets the unwedded maidens of fountains to gush from the mountains. Thus he releases the cows of water streams from mountains. Indra is also the model for any Brahmins, any king, any Vaishya, as well as any Shudra. As the sagest of all sages, the poet among all poets, he is the model for a Brahmin. As the protector of Rita, eternal truth, law, and order, cognate with English order right, he is the model of a king. As the friend of all and connecting the world with his chariot, that is Vishva Samishla, universally mingling, he is the model for the common man, Vaishya. As the never-failing help, never-failing aid provider, Indra is the model for Shudra. Indra, moreover, clothes the naked and makes the blind see. He uplifts the oppressed, and thus he is the model for any human. As the vivifier, through the life essence of his rains that connect the spiritual mind and physical mind, we see Soma in Indra, as he himself also is the richest in rays of cows of knowledge. Gautama, reference sublitany Tatiya Maitrayani Samhita Yajurveda, as well as sows the seed by plowing the infertile and unplowable. Halya equals that which can be plowed, earth of physical mind. For this reason he is also called Koshika. Koshika means plowshare. We see Savitra, the sowing sun, and Surya in him. He is the friend of all. He himself sees through Mitra's eyes. As the ruler of the universe omnipresent, he is Varuna himself. As the killer of hurdles and blockers, serpents or dragons, referring to creeping dangers and darkness, Indra is Agni himself. He creates the world and assumes the role of Tvashtir. He is himself the spiritual sun, the Vedic symbol of self. And spiritual sun is S-U-N, like the sun in the sky. The Vedic symbol of self and container of reality, and his radiance is the all-illuminating Vishnu, who measures all realms created by Indra. He, the provider of riches, is simply the Lakshmi form of Agni. As infinite forms, he himself is Aditi. As the giver of knowledge and sage of sages, Indra is the Brihaspati. He is the Vrishaba in might. He is the splendor that pervades the whole universe, Pashyameha. The famous telling of Indra to an agnostic. There is Indra implies that All the concepts of God are there. However, there is no Indra means that there is no God. This is why in Rig Veda we find atheists denying simply Indra directly, because Indra has no single physical symbol. All the symbols form a part of him. And we find in Rig Veda Indra, the god beyond gender, creed, race, form, physical concepts. Though Indra in Rig Veda can also be taken like any other Rig Vedic concept of God as a single concept that is identical with other concepts about the supreme God. The Rig Veda Indra is conceptually much more. The Indra of Rig Veda is the concept of God that contains in itself all other concepts of God. The Sama Veda also talks about the same Indra, and the Yajur Veda and the Atharva Veda also talk of the same Indra, who is himself the God. However, the Brahmins like to see all Vedic devas as individual gods, and Indra as chief of gods. Still, it is to be noted that all Vedic concepts are still gods and Brahmins and not demigods. Very important point. As we shall see, the Indra gets watered down to become a demigod in the later literature. So in comes the Ramayana. By the Ramayana period, we find initial attacks to the Vedic concepts of God by the people who were now in a confused state with different gods. Also, some gods had already started to be degraded to demigods. The Atalya myth is forged, and Indra, being the chief god attested in Vedas, now had to suffer the most. Varuna, another important Rig Vedic concept of God, was brutally ripped off his autonomous sway by the Rama. A mere mortal Rama challenges God Varuna himself. Ha ha ha, Indrajit. A local Rakshasa kid simply wins over Indra. One should note that Indra simply kills Vrita, the supreme most of all demons. Rama of Ramayana generously steals many of Indra's qualities. In many cases, the Rama is compared with Indra in Ramayana. The Ramayana Sita could have been inspired by Rig Vedic Sita. Indra is still mocked in many myths, starting from the tale of Sagar's horse. Does not it seem amusing to hear that one can become God by killing 100 horses, and that God is jealous of man? Now comes the Mahabharata. By the Mahabharata period, we find a total mess of gods, demigods, and gods. There we find Trinity emerging up, and Indra becomes king of gods. Indra is constantly mocked by furnishing myths. Indra turns out to be merely anthropomorphic character, resembling Greek gods now. Then comes the Puranas. The Puranic period saw the sectarian gods coming up. No trace of Vedic names of God was left. Even concepts that had some connection with concepts in Vedas were brutally hunted, like suppressing Brahma, accusing him of incest with his daughter, and Shiva chastising him. Fun. Indra now becomes a position. There is a vacancy in the position after a certain period of time called Manvantar, and a person who has killed 100 horses through Ashvamedha can become Indra. Indra becomes an inefficient chief of the demigods, and the gods constantly mock him. In Shiva Purana, Shiva steals the credit of Indra's achievements. In Vishnu Puranas, Vishnu steals the credit of Indra's achievements, and so on. Moreover, every rape case is generally loaded on Indra's head. If some king has his daughter being raped by some guy, he would say, Indra raped her, so that he can escape from the bad image. Some great souls even curse Indra. The most supreme deed of restoring Vrita by killing Vrita is turned into a legend of killing a mere demon Vrita. Puranas, apart from trying to transfer Indra's credit of killing Vrita to Vishnu, Shiva, and Devi worship, also try to sympathize with Vrita. This is by making the Virta a Brahmin. Fun, fun, fun. By modifying the story and also unnecessarily exaggerating and telling Dahiti's sacrifice, so that Indra is devoid of any sympathy from readers. Moreover, the killing of Vrita is shortened to an act of killing a Brahmin who wished to conquer Devas. Again, we are shown Indra is a bad guy who does anything cruel to protect his group of guys. The demigods are equally bad as the Asuras in most of the cases, Devas and himself. And any achievements he gets is because he worships the relevant sectarian god of the Purana. Altogether, after reading Purana's original, one learns never to worship Indra, or at least think of worshipping Indra. Moreover, one will hate Indra to the core. The final blow was certainly from a village boy, Krishna. Earlier, only mighty Rakshasas and later kings conquered Indra. Now even village boys could. Who picks up a mountain to shield the wrath of Indra, thinking of worshipping the kid, isn't it? That is what the author also intended. The Rig Vedic title of Govinda for Indra, because he finds the cows of light of knowledge from the Vala's cave of darkness of ignorance, is simply transferred to the kid without a valid reason. A myth is cooked up with very difficulty. Everything that Veda praised Indra for is simply transferred to kids and shepherds on the pure ecstasy of copying out the stories. The Puranic author also copied the women enjoyment to Krishna from the earlier myths of Indra, quote, raping women, but you should not ever accuse Krishna. His rape is divine. It is interesting to note that even Ahalya's forged myth in Ramayana clearly shows Ahalya as not innocent and enjoying with Indra, but the Puranic guys take it to another level where Ahalya is chaste Kanya and Indra is responsible for all the RAPE cases in the world. So that's a whole story. I don't really want to go into that, but it is talked about. Anyways, they're just trying to make Indra look bad in these made-up stories and twisted stories. And so they have destroyed the Vedas. They have destroyed anything to do with Indra. And they have to make these gods so that they're very attractive to the people. And in Rig Veda, truth is just spoken about Indra. It's like his qualities, like how he is the well-wisher of all living beings, and he tries to lift people up. And so the Puranas are trying to get you to worship their particular god, and they shun all the other gods. In one of the Shiva Puranas, it clearly says, Lord Shiva clearly says, if you worship other gods, you will go to hell. That seems non-different from Christianity talk. That's the same kind of Christian talk. So that's the thing. So they're all trying to, they put the other gods on the lower statuses and call them demigods and say if you worship them, you're less intelligent. This is what is taught in the Vaishnavas. Vaishnavas system teaches that you only worship Krishna and Vishnu, and all the other gods are demigods, and if you worship them, that you're less intelligent. So, in my opinion about this, it appears that the Puranas are men's fantasies about how they would like the world to be. There's a lot of oppression of women. The stories of the women are really disgusting, in my opinion. And they would like to, it seems like a way for them to oppress and control women and keep them subdued. So the Rig Veda, the Vedas, they don't have that mentality, they don't have that approach, and they don't have all these crazy made up stories, all these dramas. It's like watching a movie, all the dramas that they talk about with all these stories. And so no, this world is not, God didn't create this world as a playground for himself to enjoy 18,000s of wives, or however many thousands of wives, and for God to, have everyone just be doing something for him, like his own enjoyment. But actually, it is said that this world was created in order to help save the souls, because the Supreme Being cares so much about the souls, and that this world is to teach us to get to the right path, to lift up our consciousness, so that we understand the truth and what is right and what is wrong, and how to act, how to behave, how to live righteously, and the true nature of the soul, the jiva, the individual soul, and the Supreme Being. So that is like just a little summary, and I can go more in depth in future videos, but I just wanted to share this with everyone. So thanks for listening, and you all have a great day.